Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today we are back again with yet another episode of A Day in the Life of an Entrepreneur. And we have Sandeep Kamble with us. I would let him speak more about himself because he's doing so much for the community and also he's running his own company. So, Sandeep, over to you.
Thank you, Vandana. First of all, thank you for having me on this program first, and congratulations for chairing the WOFS Foundation. I think you are the first Indian, I believe, chairing the WOFS Foundation. For that,
Yes,
congratulations.
thank
So,
you.
yeah, if I just want to start with my introduction. As you know, everyone calls me Sandeep, and there are a lot of other names also, which I don't want to call here, which so-called hackers names. I'm in the industry, I think, almost around a decade. Before that, when I was student, doing a lot of security stuff. But then I got introduced to the communities like Garage for Hackers and all that. From there, uh, I always had a thought of starting a company. I never thought of joining any company from a day one. Even from my engineering, I was like, I will start some vada pav dukan, but I'll just do my own, right? Eventually, uh, the time came. I just out from a college, and I found the company F9 Pix, which is a non-security, but it's miserably failed. And eventually I thought, yeah, now I should get back to my own expertise, that's a security. Then I started looking into the things, then founded Secureless 7. And eventually I started looking for people also who is like-minded, passionate, who want to work under the umbrella called as Secureless 7. And we were so young, and we want to solve this ever challenging cybersecurity problem, Vandana, as we every day see it. And there is where we are continuously innovating the existing Secureless 7 ecosystem and the business plan. Right. When we say the business plan, Vandana, Secureless 7 started with the few security consulting services to to provide or to achieve the customer security goals and achieve the highest customer experience in and this is where we were successful. And I am very proud to say now we are well respected leader in the security testing segment, recognized by the Crest, Certain, and market research companies or organization, I would say. Now we have in portfolio of, I think, almost around 650 customers across the US, Middle East, APAC region. And now we also thinking, or we already thought, we are releasing it, already released two different products. One is in a fraud solution. Another one is my very close to heart, that's Baghdaz, which is where we are solving the pen test problem to ensure it's a more easy process. So this is how we are now in 2022. I don't know last 2 years what happened because of COVID and all of things, but even looking at previous, Vandana, I'm happy to share in your platform. I think we are doubled the revenue, we are doubled the team, and we are moving so fast now. And I think, as an entrepreneur, we like challenges, and we are still facing a lot of challenges, and we have solved a lot of challenges, and we can see the new upcoming challenges as well. So we are in the growth phase.
I think that's a very good way to go. And I'm sure there are ups and downs everywhere. But then, till the time you have positive mindsets that we're going to thrive, things are going to work out really well.
Right.
Uh,
Definitely.
one one thing I do want to know from you, that how did this idea came into picture? Like, I know that your first startup failed, but then um, I'm sure in security also there are so many domains. There are so many things that you need to consider. You can't just go ahead
Correct.
and say, "Oh, I'm just going to build a security startup," but then you need to have an idea. So,
Right.
how that idea culminated, or you felt that this is the thing that I want to do?
So I think I was not from the business class. First of all, it's an engineering thought process. Back in 2011, 12, if you see that the problem was not that much highly critical or P0 as of now, today you see it. But back in time, most of the customers, companies, online, they were looking for a cybersecurity assessment services, right? And this is where I felt, why should not we start this assessment services? Let's start with the individual. Let me try to talk with some of the customers, or let me try to talk with some of the individual. And if I'm able to see the traction is there, then I think it's good to start with the assessment services, and then continuously we need to evolve to become a bigger size, right? I never had a thought of to make big. I had a thought of like, I want to earn almost around 50,000 rupees per at least a month. That was my expectation at the start of the day, right? Or maybe I want to just get my appetite full. Eventually, I can think how I can make it on such a bigger scale. However, we were evolving in a drastic way, in I would say in the fast way, and eventually now you can see the way we took secure lesson from 0 to 1. It's a very big journey, I would say, and a lot of ups and down, definitely. Right from your people management, right from your operation management, right from your HR management, there are so many functions and units that you should at least have information on that to make a right set of decision, right? So there are a lot of things to, I would say, crucial elements in terms of decision making.
You've nailed a point because there are so many roles that you have to wear. So how do you balance that? Because I'm sure it was not just the starting where you have to wear a business person hat, a salesperson hat, a technical person hat, and HR and whatnot, like a people management. So
Correct.
how do you balance it? And when you are balancing, how much of it is like a people management role and a business person role?
Right. So eventually, there are a lot of functions you need in the company, and that's totally depend on what is your current company's growth phase. Where is your company in the trajectory section? So if I would say I'm in the initial phase of company, then trust me, there are a lot of works to done. Instead of work, I would say you first need to build the trust in between you and your colleague, you and your own team member, you and your family, that we call it as a Secure 7 family, right? And that's the biggest challenge. And then you need to look at the, yes, there are many functional unit. Every you need to figure out first of all what is your current requirement, whether you want to focus on HR, whether you want to focus on a sales. You need to go phase by phase and solve problem one by one instead of going all together. We cannot become a jack of all, right? We need to focus at least one particular, and then once you have a somewhere stabilizing thing, then you need to hire a person who is much better than you. And this is where people will start looking at that person as a leader, and he will be taking this unit will be further next stage where I was not able to take, right? And that this is where I think we need to build a team where we have to bring a lot of roles and responsibility and create good organization structure eventually. Now, if I look at current the phase of Secure 7, that's a growth phase, right? So now we have functional heads. So now the functional heads reports back to me, and then I have a very good trust with them, psychological safety with them, and eventually they are now taking this company to the next level, and they have a lot of people internally to solve their problems. So this is how I think you need to shift from one gear to another gear.
Right. And while you were shifting gears, or you are shifting gears, have you ever felt that, oh, this is something which is not going right? This is something we might not be able to sail through. This is something which might be a big problem. Have you ever come across something like this?
Yeah, every time, I would say. Every time. So like while shifting a gear, sometimes the gear makes noise, right? Sometimes it doesn't move. That happens all the time. Specifically, when a person is coming from an engineering mindset, he has to change. He has to make a drastical transformation from your engineering thought process to the actual leadership thought process, right? And this is where you start learning people, first of all. Learn what people want, and this is how you will able to figure out what the next thing that you want to solve, right? And there are a lot of incidents where I was not able to move further. I just take a break. I just exit. I stop thinking whatever I had in mind, and then eventually after 3-4 days, if I relook that area and information, then I am able to take some decision. Okay, and at Secure 7, we believe in data. We don't follow the best practices, Vandana, at all. So for example, X company is implementing this, so we will implement that. We don't do that. We look at the data, we research that data, and eventually come, yes, we require this information, right? So definitely, there are a lot of hurdles, ups and downs, but that's a part and parcel of your entrepreneurship. You will not able to sleep in the night just because fancy word not sleeping. That means I'm doing really well. That's not the idea. Here, even in the sleep or in the night, you start thinking how I can solve the problem, and there is where you need to exit and stop thinking and eventually go in passive mode to find some solution.
Yeah, I think that is very much needed. Take a break, retrospect, and understand what are the things that can be done, and what are the ways where we can achieve the best, but we need help from somebody else,
Right.
right? Now, in all this journey, I'm sure you have had so much experience. Yeah, like you've got experiences, and at the same time, you had your own learnings. You had mentors who were guiding you. So, I would like to know from you what are some of the learnings that you feel people should know and people should take benefit out of it.
Okay, so there are a lot of things to learn, but first of all, you need to find your own priorities, right? You need to figure out your own fitment. Even you need to think about, are you able to join startup? Because there is a fast moving phase and you have to learn a lot of things. Are you able to join any big company MNC where you have a specific set of problem need to solve, right? So I feel whenever I meet people, I usually ask them like, how are we doing the communication? How are our commitments toward anything, not just work, even hobbies, right? I wanted to learn horse riding, but I'm not able to do it because of commitments, right? I want to learn guitar, but I'm not able to do that. So there has to be commitment, right? And eventually this commitment will come through your priorities. And eventually, I would say you must have a lot of initiatives, thought process. Every time you need to take initiatives, and that initiative you will able to take when you have a curious mind. So communication, commitment, initiatives, along with the curiosity of the technology or whatever the section or thought process that you want to believe or possess. Right.
Right, right, absolutely. Because without the curiosity, I don't think so that we can move further and we can do something different. And at the
Yeah,
same time, especially when we talk about cybersecurity, it's a very dynamic field.
yeah,
There's
it's a
some
very
vulnerabilities, something new that is coming up. So for you, how do you cope up with that? Like there are so many new challenges that keep coming up. So how do you make sure that organization is up to date, making sure that it is meeting the challenges of the industry? Because I know it's a question, specifically I think security industry, there's so much that's going on.
yeah, that's right. So catch upping with the industry running, and this is where your company's vision will play a major role, right?
Mhm,
So first of all, as a leader, maybe figure out what is a vision, where
mhm,
you want to move. But to communicate that strategy, you again need a lot of skills. You need to
mhm,
play or create some management routines so that everyone from your team member will follow this routines, and this is where you can catch up. Yes, we are on track. We are trying to catch up what industry required, and this is where we were able to achieve our vision eventually. And as you know, that vision is always going to be aspirational. It covers a lot of things, right? And within that, we are going to play some tiny role to achieve the vision mission eventually.
um, totally on par. Because I think that the vision remains the same, but then the things associated with it are always dynamic, because you'll have to adapt, you'll have to change, you'll have to mold. So many things keep going on. There is
Right.
one thing I do want to ask around the same thing. Any documentary, any book, or any podcast, anything that you feel people should watch, which you like, especially around entrepreneurs or changing your mindset.
Right. So there are a lot of podcasts eventually. I am not really fan of continuously following a lot of podcasts, but I do listen some of the podcasts. I think on leadership, if you just search on Spotify, leadership, and then you will get some of the one of few of the leadership podcasts there, and you can listen to one of them. So I'm not really fan of, to be very frank.
No, no worries. I know you've been working a lot on different aspects. But I also want to know, I know you're working on some side projects and whatnot. So what are the new things that we can see you working on, or any new initiative, even for the community, that we'll see you working on?
Yeah, so the very first initiative, I think, innovation within Secure 7. Okay. Innovation, what is meant by that now? It's a very vague word, but what we are trying to do, innovate the space of pen test, right? So this is where we are introducing the Bugdas. That's a pen test as a service platform, where we are going to make all the penetration testing process very much easy, so that customers will not wait too much to start the pen test, or customer will not have any communication issue within your pen testers and the customers, right? That problem is very important to solve now, and this is where we are putting a lot of innovation for solving that problem, and this is where the Bugdas invented. Second, we always talk about the strategy related to cybersecurity, but eventually the goal is to save the revenue. So to align that, there is a fraud space which is still required a huge innovation, and this is where we went in and started looking into the OTSEF part. So OTSEF is as of now, it's account takeover prevention solution, where we stop a lot of frauds which happen through the account takeovers, right? And now we are talking with a lot of companies who has the problem of account takeover, right, from your e-commerce or digital goods. And thanks to COVID, there are a lot of people are now using technology. There are a lot of education happened now, and people wants to use such solution to get rid of the revenue issues.
I totally agree with you. I think this time has been tough for a lot of people, or most of the people, I should say.
Yeah.
But then it has taught us so many new things as well, especially
Correct.
using the new technologies and adapting to the new technologies.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the opportunity for my other fellow entrepreneurs and the new entrepreneurs, or people who are thinking to jump in entrepreneur. I would say, previously people used to think, let's join engineering. Now people are thinking, let's quit engineering and let's move to the entrepreneurship, right? Let's try some of the ideas. Now it's a time for a lot of ideas to be deployed, and there are a lot of time where we can put some experiments and get some results and see how it works.
Right, absolutely. Now, in the end, anything that you would like to share it with the people, and how they can reach out to you?
So I'm always available on LinkedIn, Twitter. You can just search Sandeep Kamble on LinkedIn. You will find me. And you can also send me an email on sandeep@secure7.net. And I want to use your platform. We are hiring. We are hiring from a lot of positions. You guys can reach out to me or my HR team members.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. It was wonderful speaking with you, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Vandana. It was really nice meeting you, and I think we will make sure that our audience get what they wanted to know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining us today.